Hey there, it's David Duford at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents like you become top producers. So the topic of today's training is Medicare Supplement Leads Review. And what we're going to do in this video is really give you a handful of what I think are the better options for Medicare supplement leads to help you, whether you're working the turning 65 market or the turning 67 market, with getting more Medicare supplement appointments to sell more Medicare supplement leads. So the reason I'm putting this together is because for the vast majority of people that sell Medicare supplements, they use some kind of lead system, whether it's over the phone or whether it's face-to-face. And there's a lot of different lead systems out there. There's a lot of different ideas, concepts. Many of them are unproven and don't work. And the way I'm compiling this video is based off of experience dealing with agents who sell Medicare supplements, again, whether over the phone or face-to-face, and have had good results. So I'm trying to hone this in, what I believe to be the best of the best, if you will, and to give you some direction as to where to go in order to get a consistent level of Medicare supplement leads that are decent quality. So the one thing that needs to be said when it comes to any kind of lead generation, and Medicare supplement lead generation is no different, is that ultimately a lead is just a lead, okay? I think there are some leads that are better than others. A lot of that's going to come down to your trial and error, but ultimately at the end of the day, the best lead program is the one that you can afford, number one, and number two, it's the one that is the most consistent as well. If you want to be a top producer and you want to go on convention and you want to be amongst the top 10%, you've got to have fresh leads on a weekly basis. Now, some people like to do one-time drops. I got done talking to a guy the other day that's how he prefers to do things, and that's fine. But the truth is the most productive and highly successful agents are doing a recurring order. And they're getting a significant amount of leads. They're not just doing 10 leads a week. They're doing 20, 30, 40 plus, because that's the kind of lead volume they need in order to consistently be successful in the field, whether they sell, again, Medicare supplements face-to-face or over the phone. So what I've done in this video is I've broken this down really into two different types of lead programs. The first being telemarketing. That's probably the most common way to generate leads, whether yourself or through some kind of purchase lead program, and we're going to talk about several here in a moment, or the second being direct mail. Unlike a lot of other insurance niches, telemarketing works fairly well still for the Medicare supplement market. It just works very well, although there is a lot more competition than there ever was. I have talked to people who are turning 65 or older, and they just say they're bombarded, especially at the end of the year when it's a time for them to potentially re-up their plans, or at least consider. It's the season of Medicare to switch plans. People are just bombarded. But with that said, they still are pretty good, and you can do Medicare supplements all year long. Anyway, so let's take off of my screen here. I'm going to show you the first one and kind of demonstrate to you each how they work. If there's prices available, what they run. Again, this is all based off of, what are we, in October of 2018, so it's always subject to change. But let's do this to begin. I am going to take you to my desktop, and now you see on the screen here, this is called TrainTelemarketers.com. This is from my friend in the biz, Mr. Christopher Westfall with Eugene Marchenko. I think I got that right. And they've worked together on Medicare, both of extremely wildly successful agents in their own rights. And they put together this program chiefly because of the complaints that agents have with getting consistent Medicare supplement leads. So the premise is simple. Again, the website, you can go watch this video and go through the details on your own pace. But the premise of the website is fairly simple. You pay them a flat fee. At this time, it's $1,000 one-time fee. You get the $99 predictive dialer, $49 a month limited data, and you pay your telemarketer a recommended $3 an hour. And what they do in exchange for that is they essentially train that telemarketer the particular script of what kind of market you're working. In most cases, it would be T65 or the T67 market. And once they do that and they train them and they go out and find them, then you pay them whatever their rate is. Some pay $3, some pay less, some pay more. But the ultimate goal here, and what's great about this particular approach, is that after you pay the flat fee, you got a telemarketer you're paying an extremely cheap amount per hour for. And the reason is they go to the Philippines and they find these people, and they've got a network of how to find quality people to do this kind of work. So I can tell you from personal experience, and you've got some samples you can use here. Chris talks about, yeah, you could hire your own, but I can tell you it's a lot harder to do that, which is why they've got this particular approach. And they do have a guarantee that, basically a 30-day guarantee. I will tell you this. Again, I've been in the business a long time. I'm primarily focused on final expense. As you may know, I recruit Medicare supplement agents that are interested in face-to-face sales, particularly the turning 67 market. I've got information on that if you're interested in seeing it. But I can tell you, I've worked with Chris off and on. I've talked with Chris off and on for several years now, and I can tell you, I've dealt with a lot of agents that dabble a little in Medicare, and I've talked to a lot that have done this program, and a lot have been extremely satisfied with how the program's worked. And so and these are unsubstantiated, not unsubstantiated, but these are not people who have been paid to tell me this. These are just agents that said, oh yeah, I'm using this telemarketing program. It's pretty good. I get Medicare supplements. It's $3 an hour. I get a couple leads an hour. And I've scaled up. I've got 3 or 4 people that are calling. I'm paying $12 an hour for 3 or 4 people. I get 5 leads an hour for 20 hours a week. I mean, it's great. And I get to sell all over the phone or face-to-face. So this is a really good program. I really like it. And I've gotten agents who've done very well doing it. So this is something I would highly consider. Now, let's say you're not interested in the big upfront fee and you're just looking for maybe a one-time order for different types of setups. So let me show you the next one I want to take you to. So I'm going to, again, take you off my desktop here. Yep, there we go. So now we're going to Lead Heroes. So you probably have heard of Lead Heroes. Glenn is the owner of Lead Heroes. He's been doing lead generation for agents for years. He's got a very well-developed website, probably one of the best I've ever seen. But he does for final expense and Medicare supplements for both turning 65 and then what we call Medigap leads, which would be turning 67. There's a lot of different options here. He generates the leads. They're generally based out of the Philippines that they're generating these leads. But you can see down here when we get to Medicare insurance leads, there's different kinds of leads and different kinds of situations. You got your turning 65 here, but you also got standard real time where they update the information, and then you receive the leads in real time as opposed at the end of the day, and then live transfers. Again, different options, samples to listen to, different amounts you can purchase. They even do Medicare supplement direct mail. That's a brand new one. And then here's a cool little map they put together here, which helps you understand the Medicare marketing penetration rate for Medicare Advantage. This basically helps you, especially as a telesales person, which areas and which counties are going to be ideal to target. And it's a pretty neat map. It's amazing how you put this together. But like, for example, you can find like up here in Knoxville, I think this is Knox County, penetration rates 43-31. Most Medicare supplement guys, I generally think they want 30% or less. They think that that's like an ideal area to target for Medicare supplements. So this map helps you understand that based off of 2017's, and this is updated every year, information. And you know where to kind of target Medicare subs. If you do telemarketing, you can see which states are kind of the best to target and to deal with. So it's a pretty cool little deal here. So give them a shot. You might find that you like it. So I didn't mention earlier, but I think it's worth doing now, the pros and cons of telemarketing. I think probably the biggest pro of telemarketing is that it's really cheap to get Medicare supplement leads. They're usually simpler to generate, being that they're generated over the phone. So you pay a lot less than you would, say, relative a direct mail lead. And the great thing about the Medicare business is that we know everybody's got Medicare and are concerned about Medicare, especially if we're targeting somebody who is turning 65. It's like, you got to buy Medicare. We know it's on your mind, usually 90% of the time. The only other exception being they're already disabled and they're on Medicare already. And then also we know that people with supplements have price increases every year. And you can see and talk to people literally right on the spot and get to talking to people about how you can improve and better that. So telemarketing adds a level of immediacy in addition to quality because of the inherent nature of who we're dealing with in this market, which we know they all have Medicare and have concerns with it. Cons would probably be that there's a lot of competition in the space for lead generation. There's no way around that. Probably in the populated areas you saw in there, as well as the lack of population areas. You're going to have a lot of people calling. And you've got the other problem that there is a do not call list, and it's each year growing smaller and smaller to telemarket from, although there's plenty of agents who don't care and they do just fine as well. So my recommendation for telemarketing would be definitely to give it a shot if you're doing Medicare supplements, T65, T67, phone sales, direct mail sales. It works really well. So let's talk about phone sales or face-to-face is what I mean. So let's talk about direct mail. And so if you watching my videos when it comes to final expense, you know I'm in love with direct mail. I always believe that direct mail produces a particular quality of client that's unmatched with other forms of lead generation. Why that's the case, I don't know, but I think it's about the time invested, the thought process that goes into filling the card out and sending it back. And they, generally speaking, the people who do that understand they're going to get a follow-up. So they're kind of playing the game and understand the way that works. And when we look at direct mail, the pros of direct mail are that it's generally a better quality lead. You'll see more people who will set for appointments more often. And it's really, I believe, the choice amongst face-to-face agents. You're going to do a lot better. You got a card you can show people to get in the door and door knock on. And so there's a lot of advantage from a sales perspective, especially face-to-face. The alternative to that is that if you sell over the phone, I wouldn't do direct mail. Although there's always exceptions or rules. Most of the top producers over the phone are using telemarketed leads or internet-based leads or some kind of non-physical mail type of approach. Again, I'm talking about big numbers of averages, not exceptions. I'm sure there's somebody who is doing direct mail and selling over the phone successfully. So, you know, part of the other cons would be it's direct mail can be fairly expensive, especially compared to telemarketing. Again, price, you get what you pay for in many circumstances. Ultimately, you're going to have to try either of these methods out to see what works best for you. So a couple of options for direct mail. Let me pull up my screen here. Give me a second. And then I'm going to show you two different vendors I've done a lot of business with that I like. The first is Lead Concepts here, leadconcepts.com. They've done a lot of business with me. I like them a lot. They do a great job. If we do direct mail here, I believe that'll take us to some of their options here. They've got Medicare supplement leads as well as Advantage. And they basically put it together for you. And they'll show you there's, I think if I click this, it should bring up the supplement catalog. I guess they'll send it to you, something like that. But generally speaking, they do a good job, good, highly responsive leads. I think 2% plus is kind of what they expect. They do a good job. Second here is Need a Lead. I've used Need a Lead a lot in the final expense business, but they do also have some leads for Medicare Advantage and supplement as well, turning 65 leads as well. They say they're getting 3 to 6% on returns. I always kind of discount that with anything that I see and just reduce it a little bit. Even 2 to 4% would be fantastic. And then they tell you how it works, get you a quote, where you want to drop them at. And what's good is if you can always use, say, for example, Glenn at Lead Heroes map to help you identify which counties are best to drop leads in, by the way. A lot of people do that. So there's some vendor ideas for you. And the last thing I'll leave for you here is that, you know, at the end of the day, we all know we need leads to be successful, whether that's referred leads or purchased leads. The key critical to your success is finding a program you're comfortable with, you like, you enjoy, and that you can scale to the kind of financial success or financial goals that you have. All of these programs work very well for the right kind of agent. Be willing to experiment, try out, and see what works best for you. And have a level of comfort in trying different ones, or just mix and match them. A lot of agents do that too. If you got any questions or concerns with how any of these Medicare supplement vendors work, you want more information, please leave a comment below. And if you like this video, thumbs it up. Subscribe if you haven't. And then also make sure you go to davidduford.com to learn more about my recruiting opportunities. If you're interested in selling Medicare, the particular field that I specialize in is the turning 67 Medicare supplement market. It is a easier way to get involved, I believe, in the Medicare supplement or even the Medicare arena. It's a less specialization that you need to know, and there's a lot of cross-selling opportunities too. Specifically, we train it on a face-to-face basis. So again, go to davidduford.com for more information. And my name is Dave Duford, and thanks for watching. Bye.